Guess who forgot his mic? Using this one in the meantime, hopefully it doesn't sound like garbage. Also, it's really cold, as in colder than it is in Antarctica, and my heating is out, so yeah, don't judge me for this, please. Breaking news, everybody, Geoff Keighley has been cancelled. He was seen making unwanted advancements on Animal after the show, therefore all awards are null and void, they've been returned, and all announcements are now delayed until 2029. As such, we need to create our own Game Awards show, so welcome to the first annual something. I haven't thought of a name yet. Best Axe, Kratos. Best Ass, Kratos. Best game I didn't play, Kirby and the Forgotten Lands. There's a few games that I didn't get to this year that I wanted to, Pentiment, Plague Tale, Escape Academy. The new Sonic looks kind of fun, if a little bit broken, but Kirby feels like a can't-miss 3D platformer that I did miss because the games industry essentially mugged me in February, and I didn't want to buy another $80 game the next month, but then I kept waiting for a sale, but it's Nintendo, so it never goes on sale, so I never got around to it, but it looks fun. I want to be a vending machine. Dumbest controversy, Helena Taylor's Bayonetta voice acting boycott thing. This was just kind of publicly lying the controversy, and it's a shame because this is an important discussion about an underpaid field, but now it's been associated with making up numbers and gatekeeping signatures. I mean, seriously, you're gonna get mad at the new voice actress for not doing anything to you, having no involvement in any of your alleged issues, and then signing autographs as the character she now plays when the fans ask for it? Yeah, that makes sense. Best trailers, Final Fantasy 16. I've played exactly one Final Fantasy game. I've finished roughly none Final Fantasy games. Final Fantasy 16 is one of my most anticipated games of next year. That's how you know these trailers slapped harder than my dad on Christmas Day. Worst company Twitter account, EA. Shocking. Here's a few examples, and yes, their community manager did call one of their fans a milkshake brain. That's a real thing. Most confusing, Neon White. I can't stress how much I love one side of this game and hate the other. I don't know how this mix happened. I appreciate the unique take. I get that the other side of things has its fans, but my speedrun times on the dialogue were faster than my times on the levels. Most forgettable, Dying Light 2. Do you guys remember that Dying Light 2 came out this year? And that was supposed to be a big deal too, like nobody talked about it after 2 weeks. Also Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Most overlooked, Tunic. Now, there were a lot of games that people gloss over from this year's slate. I don't think I've even heard anyone say the words Rogue Legacy 2, not even my brother, and that game's awesome. But I think Tunic is something that had so many strengths, such a throwback attitude, and such a great art style that it should have been a much bigger part of the discussion this year. This game has a lot of the same strengths as the original Dark Souls, along with the isometric Zelda inspiration, all while being a much more consistent experience than the early Souls games. I caught a little flack in my last video for saying that Dark Souls 1 aged really badly and large regions of it were total donkey butt, but I stand by it. And this game really retains some of the things that make that game stand apart from the new ones while buffing out the issues. Tunic should have a bigger following than the one it does. Most marketing, the Callisto Protocol. I can't go 2 seconds without seeing an ad for this game before it came out and after, and they tricked us. They talked about it so much that we really believed that it was going to be the next big thing in horror. I think there was like one guy on my Discord who said the over-marketing was suspect and the game would be mediocre, so one guy on my Discord, well done, congrats, the rest of us have 8 brains. Most snubbed, Sifu. This game didn't win a single award, not even Best Action. It wasn't even nominated for Art Direction, which feels like it should be against the Geneva Conventions. It was my 3rd favorite game of the year. You guys already know what 1 and 2 are. I just wish it got a few more awards. Best game that didn't actually come out this year, Replaced. I'm almost worried for this game because it looks too good. In my head, I can't even imagine what playing it'll be like, how they'll incorporate this style and cinematography into a full experience, but I am excited to be proved wrong. The only thing that we really need to see from this game is a bit of uncut gameplay to see how the combat actually works. It has an unbelievable level of potential. I think it can achieve it. We've seen games like this maybe bite off a bit more than they can chew even this year, so I'm always cautious, but the excitement is building up for this one. Worst game that didn't release this year, Starfield. Like Replaced, it was moved from 2022 to 2023, which is why it's illegible, but unlike Replaced, I think this game might not even hit next year, and if it does, it's going to be a total disaster. I'm pretty confident that Starfield's going to crumble under its own weight. It'll have some good ideas, but it'll also have mediocre gameplay that crops up way too often and horrible performance. There's every chance that these predictions end up flipped because they're both ambitious titles in their own right, and those are always hard as hell to take a guess on, but I'm sticking with my steadfast belief that Starfield is the next Cyberpunk. Biggest piece of shit, Gotham Knights. Most surprising game that I enjoyed, Ollie Ollie World. I actually wanted to platinum this game before I realized that I'd have to burn my thumb down to a stump to achieve that. This is my first skateboarding game. I love that it was a free flowy arcade one and not a realistic skating sim. The levels are great, the backgrounds are great. This was just a very nice palette cleanser between a lot of big releases. Best developer, plot twist, it's not Santa Monica or FromSoft. I got Roll 7. I just mentioned Ollie Ollie World, great game, but they also released Rollerdrome just a few months later and it was great. 2 games in 1 year, both of which are outside my wheelhouse and both of which really drew me in right away. Rollerdrome could use some late game encounter and difficulty tweaking, but it's a fantastic creative game without being ultra complex. complex, and I feel like this team has proven themselves capable of creating addictive, increasingly popular games. I can't wait to see what they pull off in the next few years. Best game for 1 week, Multiversus. Best video, the one where Squidward says drone in it.
Drown in it! Drown in it!
This has nothing to do with games, and it wasn't even made this year, but I just think about it a lot. Best clown fan base, Silksong. Best grass, Sonic. Look how much there is, look how lush. Biggest disappointment, I feel like a lot of people around the industry might say Callisto, but I haven't played it yet, so that's not fair. I'm also not going to include Gotham Knights because I kind of expected that it was going to make me want to pull my teeth out. I think I might go with Trek to Yomi. This was just a really gimmicky experience. It wasn't the worst thing in the world, but the only thing that really worked were the visuals. Biggest disappointment according to my dad, me. Most overhyped, Bayonetta 3, Fight Me. This game is fine, it's fun, but it looks ugly, its story is forgettable, the monster combat is poorly implemented, and even its action, the best thing about it, can't really compete with something like DMC5. It's still good, but it doesn't teach you properly and can easily end up repetitive or stagnant. It also keeps getting in the way of its own fun, which should be the priority, with really long cutscenes and super slow-moving flashback sequences and really bad puzzles. I don't hate it, but an 86... Best game that wasn't a full game, the Cuphead DLC. Best game with the least games, Stray. Best game with the most game, Elden Ring. Best game without filthy minorities, Sonic Frontiers, probably. Game that almost lost my roommate his girlfriend because he was too busy playing it and not talking to her, God of War Ragnarok. And finally, my game of the year, Chess 2.